What is going on, everybody? So back again with another video. On this one, we're just gonna do a little brief overview or discussion of whole numbers or quarter point levels. So I was gonna make a presentation about this, but I decided not to, and just decided to just go ahead and make this something that we just go over exclusively. Just taking a look at the charts here, right? So let's just and actually DXY would be cool, right? So just at looking at the DXY, right, which is the US dollar currency index. Um, First thing we're going to realize that we have here on the left is these whole numbers, right? These numbers that really tell us the amount of price, right? So if we look, we see currently it goes up in increments of 0.200, right? So we see 96600, 96800, 97, right? And we're seeing prices decreasing as it goes down, increasing as it goes up, right? So these levels are going to be our whole numbers, right? This 96600 or just 96000, 95000, 94000, right? So these levels are going to be our whole number levels, right? So our whole number levels are levels that are ending in a 0 or a 5, or actually our whole number levels are just going to be our levels that are ending in a 0, right? And then we also have our quarter point levels. So our quarter point levels are going to be the levels in between that. So our whole number levels are going to be like 96 00, right? Flat, right? 97 000 flat, 98 000 flat, right? So those are our whole number levels. And if I zoom this out a bit more, right? So we're seeing these are our whole number levels, right? 9700, 9500. I like to consider these our whole number levels. So our quarter point levels are the levels we see as we get closer within range, right? We're starting to see that 96100, 96200, 96300, right? So these are our quarter point levels. And the reason that like we're really going over this mainly is because you'll notice, and once I bring back the technicals of not just this chart, but a few other charts, you'll notice that price has a tendency to either reverse, pause, or just show us a reaction to these whole number levels, right? These quarter point levels, these price levels have a tendency to be very reactive, right? So let's just take a look, bringing back our technicals on DXY, right? We see every time I mark up the chart, I am literally mainly just marking up my support and resistance zones at quarter point or whole number levels, right? So if we look at all my levels, we see there are all whole number or quarter point levels: 95500, 9500, 96400, 96600, 96700. And even on my major weekly levels, like we take it back to the weekly, just zoom out, we see 100 flat, 103 flat, 89 flat, right? So we're seeing and if we're looking at price, look at how price is reacting to these levels, right? So this is between 90 and 89, right? I prefer, sometimes you'll see me use the upper line as what I'm marking my zone up. And this one, I'm actually using my 89 level as more so as my support, right? Even though 89 is a little bit further down on the downside, we're seeing prices still giving us significant moves in terms of relevance of respecting this price. All right, I low-key stepped away, but I'm back now, right? So if we're looking at these levels, right, we see these levels have provided us major either support or major resistance, right? We've seen major reactions at these levels on not only the weekly time frame, right? But if we just go down to the 4-hour, click the wrong thing. Even if we go down to our 4-hour chart, right, we're looking, we're just looking at these minor levels, right? 96600. We're seeing price has tested this as a resistance zone multiple times in the past, right? What is this? 96400. We see price is using this as resistance, breaks above, comes back and retests its support for a while before breaking back down and continuing to use this level as a resistance zone, right? So not only on DXY, if we go to, let's just say GU, which is a perfect example, right? So zooming out on our daily, once again, we see prices reacting to these whole numbers and these quarter point levels. And that is the main thing I want to drive, that we are marking up, that we want to make sure we are understanding. And it makes price more easily understandable, right? When we're understanding what are the major support and resistance zones, what major price levels or quarter point levels is price respecting, is price reacting to, is price reversing it, right? So once we have identified all of these factors, right, it only makes trading a lot simpler. So let's just take a look at the weekly levels that we have here on British pound, US dollar, or GU for short, right? So we look on a weekly level, we are able to see that this 1.22000 level has reacted as a major support level in price for the last few years, since about 2016, 2017, right? We see this has acted as the most major level of support besides this little temporary break that we had here for about a week, right? We see this level has acted as our major level of support. If we look to the level just above it, 1.26000, right? We see if we start from the beginning, this level initially acted as a resistance zone, right? So we see price acted as resistance. And we already know once price breaks above a resistance zone, it retests or typically has that level tested as a support level. So we see price broke above this resistance level here before coming down to retest this 1.26000 level as a support, right? And we see price respected as a report. And just focusing on this main support line here, we see price test this support, right? What it needed to do up here, came back, tested support, went back up, came back, tested support, went back up. Broke below, right? So we did see our break below, didn't really see too much of a retest for this now support turn resistance, but we see we got broke back above this level before breaking back down. We see right here we did have another test of this level as resistance, break back up, retest this here for a shallow or a minor test of support before ranging back to the upside, right? We look up to the level above it, we can see the same thing repeats itself over and over again, right? So support, 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 right? Breaks below, turns resistance, breaks above support, stays above this level, kind of have a little ping pong between 134 and 126 level here a little bit. But we see overall this 134 test is resistance, 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 broke above a little bit. I guess you can almost say this is a retest as break of resistance and support, depending on how you look at it, or you can look at this as your break of resistance, retest, and support, for a possible continuation to the upside of our 1.3800 level, right? So looking at that and just even potentially GU, right? So even GU, if we're looking every time you see a chart, you're always going to always see. And actually, I'm going to do potentially EU. No, let's do Bitcoin. I think Bitcoin's pretty good marked up. Okay. Right. So even when it comes to cryptocurrencies, right? So we're still acknowledging these major price levels, right? 51,000, 56,000, 60,000, 64,000, 40,000. I believe this is like 30,000. Yeah, so around 30,000 level here, right? And we're still seeing price respect all of these major price zones. So we're seeing, if we look at just this 60,000, we see resistance, broke above, came back, resistance, broke above, support, 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 broke below, resistance, right? So we're seeing these levels, these whole number levels, these quarter point levels being tested over and over and over again, right? So at the end of the intermediate course, what we're going to do is I'm going to have a video where I break down everything from a naked chart, completely naked, a chart that looks like this, or a chart that looks like this, right? And we're going to break it down until the chart is looking like this, and we're able to really understand what our price movement is doing, where it can possibly be headed. And we're factoring in different things like support zones, resistance zones, our quarter point levels, our whole number levels, any price patterns that we're getting formed, any chart patterns that we are getting formed, right? And we're bringing all this, even potentially the RSI level, right? So we're bringing all of these little factors that help us get an understanding for where prices are going, right? And we're bringing it all together in a collective basket, and we're using all these skills, all these little inklings, and we're bringing this together to form our chart, right? To break down our chart, right? To make a chart that looks like this, right? Looks jumbled, right? And we're bringing in all our skills to pretty much make a chart go from nothing to something and make it to where we're now able to see where price has been and where price has the potential to go, right? So with that, we'll tie more into this as we get into our next video. But I just want you to keep main thing here is to understand that within our price levels, right, we have two major things. The first major thing is going to be your whole numbers. Your whole numbers are going to be the numbers that really end in zero. And I like to consider both, and let's do it to the weekly, right? So we're seeing just on GU, the whole numbers are the solid numbers, right? 28, 0, 0, 0, 30, 0, 0, 0, 29, 0, 0, 0. And then you have your quarter point levels, which are in between. So if we look at 28, we see 28, 1.28000, 1.29000, right? And if we break it down even further, we start to see the quarter point levels within this 128 and this 129, right? We start to see 128,500. As we dig even deeper, let's just say go to the daily. Now we're really starting to see all the minor levels that go in between here, right? So the 28200, 28400, 28600, 28800, right? And these are going to be our quarter point levels, right? So that is one, at least with me, that is one of the main things I look at when I'm looking to mark up my price, mark up where I believe price may reject. The main thing I'm going to be looking for is those quarter point levels and those whole levels, right? Whole number levels. So with that, that is going to conclude this video, right? We'll definitely touch into this more, and you'll see more illustrations of this as we progress through the academy and through the other videos of the course. But just wanted to do a brief or overview of what these whole numbers or quarter point levels are, right? So with that, I'll see you guys in the next video.